This is about a segment that is probably the most keenly contested and one with blood, sweat and tears, and this is the compact luxury saloon. For hundreds of years, the Europeans have defined, I'd say even owned the idea of luxury. Everything from gourmet food to furniture, they've always set the benchmark. And that's how we've come to understand luxury and premium. And of course, when you talk about the Teutonic boys, they understand the premium and luxury and sportiness. A bit ironic when you think about the fact that in our part of the world, while we were charting stars, they were still learning how to wash their bums. But anyway, more importantly, then what do you do when you come along with an Infiniti? Now, the Japanese have a completely different idea of luxury and premium. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that we feel that if you compare the two like for like, it's not a straight fight, because ultimately, this segment is all about snobbery, you know, the right sort of school and all of that. And in that sense, the Germans and the Europeans have that unfair advantage because we've always seen their cars as the benchmark. Therefore, today, we'd like to talk about the Infiniti, not from a red wine, white wine perspective, but look at it from a sake or schnapps perspective. Not very humble, these guys from Infiniti. Listen to this. There are hidden levels of driving enjoyment that are unlocked when technology and design converge to purify your connection with the road. It takes only an instant to discover what's beneath the surface. I mean, no expectations set up whatsoever. You know, the moment you get into the car, the luxury and premium element are completely apparent. This car corsets you. It's got fine work everywhere. There's leather stitching. You know you're in a luxury saloon, so very nice. In terms of design, it's got this double screen here, which not everybody's cup of tea, but I think the idea was to have camera on top and other functions. So for the gadget brigade, you got it sorted. Steering wheel nice and meaty, firm, not too fat, not too thin. Stalks, indicators, everything tactile, very nice, good to touch and feel. Definitely a big tick in the cabin ambience, and if I were one of the Germans, I'd be a little bit worried. So let's see how this thing runs. I'm on some cobblestones now and it's very pliant, I have to say. Turn-in is nice and sweet. I've got the steering on a standard setting, so it should weight up as I increase speed, and it is. Let's see how this car does in terms of roll. I've got a nice right-hander here, turning into the bend. Steering wheel is weighting up nicely, very even, very nice. I didn't have to do too much of correcting. Gives you some confidence, I tell you what. I wasn't expecting it to be this malleable. Put it in sport and floor it a bit. Oh yeah, so that's the engine note. And that little beep you heard was a lane change warning, because it's telling me I was going out of my lane, which is kind of nice. But no slouch there. Nice car. Okay, now I've got all these driver aids, and the car's stopping on its own. This is pretty cool. This is as close as you will get to no hands driving, because this car's got a couple of things. It's got fundamentally, it's got active cruise control, which slows the car down based on the car in front. It's got active braking, so it will stop your car in case you're not paying attention. And it also looks at your lane movement, so it will correct you a little bit whenever you get out of line. I wasn't coming in here to be impressed, and I was probably expecting a lot less. But so far, hey, I'm in a luxury saloon, that's for sure. Okay, you got a bit of the Ultraman stuff, but what can you say? All right, I'm going to take this corner a little bit quick and see how she goes. Oh my goodness, I'm surprised. Did that quite well. All right. That's now a bit more of a proper petrol roar. I didn't hear that earlier. Yeah, that's right. Not much correction. Flooring it, going on. And Bob's your uncle. You know what? That was quite a nice little run. I've been on a couple of road surfaces here, and the behavior of the Infiniti seems to be very predictable. It's consistent. It stops on time. I'm not having to turn it too hard or too fast, but I still cannot get over the sense that I'm not feeling enough. And I guess that's down to this new, drive-by-wire system. It's everything it should be. It's quick. It's light. It gears up it weighs up at the right places, but it just leaves me a little bit wanting. I suppose that's what you'll have to say about any new technology. So, if you can't hear me too clearly, don't worry. That's the sound of your taxpayer money being put to good use, because there's about 35 guys blowing leaves on a stretch of 100 meters in Putrajaya. Anyways, back to the Infiniti. The 278,000 ringgit question, I suppose, is, does this car cut it in the premium luxury segment? Let's try and be objective. For starters, it looks good. It has presence, and even if you can't call it handsome, it certainly stands out from amongst its peers. It's a nice motor. The turbo is no slacker, and it gives you what you need when you need it. Now, what I really do like about this car is the interior. This sets a new benchmark in luxury. And if I were the Germans, I would be very much having my eyes on the rearview mirror, because everything seems to have been given real thought. From the leather to the bits of aluminum, this is a car that corsets you, and the moment you get in, tells you, hello, I'm a special car. Now, for the gadget brigade, you are going to be extremely happy, because this car has everything but the kitchen sink. Ride and handling, I think it's pliant. The steering technology is interesting. Maybe not quite there yet, but it will certainly be there in the future. It has all the chops for some spirited driving, and getting around the city is perfectly comfortable. So really objectively, there's not much to say that's wrong about this car. I think that the real issue will be that when you drive it home, one of your uncles is going to go, but it's a Nissan. And quite honestly, that's what this segment's all about. It's snobbery. So the question is, are you individual enough? Do you have the self-confidence enough to buy a car and not worry about what the neighbors say? So again, it comes back to sake or schnapps. It's a question of, do you have the testicular fortitude?